Hi everyone. Recently, a young Arab Israeli Bedouin girl named Amina al-Asuni suffered severe injuries when an Iranian missile struck her home in Israel. Also, 2 anti-tank missiles targeted Arab al-Aramshi, a Bedouin village in the western Galilee of Israel, injuring 4 civilians. We can't help but notice that intellectuals have remained silent regarding these 2 incidents, underscoring their lack of interest towards Arabs unless Israel is involved. Why? Why are intellectuals in the West so biased towards Israel? Where does this hostility come from? I was asking myself the same question back in 1993 when Elie Wiesel, a Nobel laureate, a Holocaust survivor, spoke at Sorbonne University about peace. I was present on that day, and the amphitheater, filled with students and academics, was applauding Wiesel at each turn of his speech. However, when Wiesel started advocating for Israel's sovereignty, it caused a surprising shift in the audience. Some people even started to boo him. Why professors, academics, initially highly sympathetic to Wiesel, turned against him? First, it's true to say that for decades, Western intellectuals supported a number of dictatorships. To take an example, French intellectuals supported the atrocities committed by Mao Zedong. They treated Ayatollah Khomeini as a savior. They claimed that the Red Khmer were changing Cambodia for the good despite the genocide being carried out. And I'm not even talking about their constant support of the Soviet Union. So you see, after decades of betraying their ideals, our fellow intellectuals desperately needed to redeem themselves. They desperately needed a noble cause to catch up. And what better cause to embrace than Palestine? Those intellectuals don't know anything about the Middle East. Most of them have never been in Israel. But what matters to these intellectuals is not to discover the truth or the root cause of the conflict, but rather to appear on the right side of history. In other words, Israel has to be the bad guy. The Arab-Israeli conflict must be looked at from an oppressed versus oppressor lens, and Israel has to be the oppressor. Even if it means, by the way, putting under the rug all the facts that contradict the narratives. But there's another reason barely mentioned in the media, and I will conclude on this point. Intellectuals in the West are used to Jews being martyrs. In other words, they haven't come to terms with the concept of Jewish sovereignty. In simple terms, they simply despise the Jew that has his own land, the Jew that stands up for himself and relies on his own army. And that's why back in 1993, scholars and academics turned against Wiesel as soon as he spoke about Israel's sovereignty and stopped epitomizing the Jewish martyr. Now we understand why some intellectuals accuse Israel of carrying out a genocide of the Palestinians for the last few decades, while between 1960 and 2020, the population has gone from 1 million to 4.5 or 5, which is the exact opposite of a genocide. That's why Judith Butler, the American philosopher, said that the October 7 massacre committed by Hamas was actually an act of resistance committed by a resistance movement, when it's actually a terrorist Islamist army whose goal is to kill as many Jews as they can. So please, next time you hear a professor, a politician, a journalist speaking negatively about Israel, please take a step back and always question his narrative. Take care and see you soon.